We gotta go. I'll get my car. What mine? Yours. I gotta get me one of those.
Hello, and welcome to another episode of Batdan's Discussions. Sorry it's been a minute. I've been kind of busy with real life stuff, just like UW Mirror. Real life comes first always, but yeah, you read the thumbnail right. We're actually doing this. I know. I said I wasn't going to. I did. I will admit that. And I'm going to get into why I am reviewing this movie and why I actually saw it, despite me saying that I wasn't going to. But anyways, we're just going to get right to it. So please welcome as I bring on Zodwriter. How are you, man?
Oh, I'm good. I'm glad to be here. Excited to talk about this, whatever this is that we're going to talk about.
I'm so glad to hear you say that. I'm so glad to hear that. I'm ready to review this movie with Zod, and we will sing this for Socks. I know, Socks. I know. So, before we start this review, I just want to say a quick something to Terrance Stamp, to both Zod and Jor-El. He passed away at age 87, and just wanted to give my condolences to his family and just thank him for all the work he's done to entertain us fans. Because it's always important to honor the actors who inspired us and entertained us, because they helped us in a small way get through life. They helped us entertain us, get us through the hard times, and we owe a lot to these actors when they do that. So when they pass away, it's always rough. It's always sad. I guess, Zod, what's your thoughts on this?
Yeah, it was really sad to hear about Terrance Stamp's passing. I absolutely loved, his performances both as Jor-El in Smallville and as General Zod in the original Christopher Reeve first two Superman films. He's always going to hold a special place in my heart. Wonderful actor, and it's sad to see him go. Because he looked pretty good there. He looked pretty good, like in all his later images that they'd shown and stuff, other stuff that he may have been in. So but it just goes to show we're not immortal yet. That's what the reality is. So.
Yep, and well, this guy's never going to be immortal. I'll say that. I'm not. But anyways, don't want to take away from Terrance Stamp, but absolutely. Absolutely. And again, just hope that wish his family all the best. And thank you, Terrance Stamp, for everything you've done for us. I'll be honest, I actually kind of know him more as Jor-El than Zod, believe it or not, because I grew up watching Smallville, and I hadn't seen the Superman films right at that point when I started watching Smallville. I was a kid, so he was actually Jor-El to me before he was Zod.
Yeah, I always found that to be a little bit weird that they would cast the man who played Zod in the Superman Christopher Reeve films to play Jor-El in Smallville. I always thought that was weird, but that was actually pretty clever in a sense because they ended up eventually bringing Zod on that show. So their version of Zod. So,
which is funny because you hear Terrance Stamp being "Stop Zod, stop the vessel, like stop Zod from being free, stop Zod, stop Zod." I'm like, you're Zod.
Yeah, in another universe, he's Zod. So,
and in a way, in the universe that we're reviewing of the movie we're reviewing today, in a way too. So, but anyways. Rest in peace. Rest in peace, Terrance Stamp. And look, normally I don't do the spoilers right away. I normally like to have some of the box office discussion first, talk One Punch Stand first. I don't give a shit right now. Spoiler warning right now, okay? If you haven't seen the movie, it's been months. I have a feeling that everyone who's watching this review right now has either seen the movie or is just not going to see it and doesn't care about spoilers. I'll be honest. Both Jeremy Johns and Aaron Fisher watched their spoiler reviews before I even saw this movie. First time I think I've done that, actually. Watched a spoiler review for a movie that I haven't seen. So, spoiler warning in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I forget. I can't even think of like a big spoiler that's so cool and clever that you're like, oh, damn, normally I do that. I don't. I mean, Lex Luthor gets arrested at the end. Kara, Supergirl's at the end. Sure, okay. That's not really that exciting, but I just don't have anything else to talk about. So, oh yeah, I know you don't, Sox. Absolutely. But here's the thing though, Zod. This movie was supposed to attract the MCU fans, wasn't it? Wasn't that the whole point? We want to get these MCU fans watching the film.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know why Sox didn't go to see it. Well, I do know, but I mean...
Yeah, don't worry, Sox. We know why you didn't see it. And because, maybe this plan didn't work the way it was supposed to. But anyways, I'm going to get right to it right now. Because when I streamed with Josh on my Fat Dan's Return stream, I said I wasn't going to cover it. I wasn't going to see it. I said this. I know I did. And unlike James Gunn, I do not pretend that I do not just hope that you'll forget about it. I just don't hope you'll forget that I said Ben Affleck wanted to direct a project in my universe. And just hope that everyone forgot about that by the time he says absolutely not. I'm not gunny poo. I'm honest, and here's what happened. Here's what flat out happened. My dad. This is 100% on my dad. Because he has texted me over and over again. You have to see the movie. You have to cover the movie. You have to review the movie. People are counting on you. It's for your channel. I've gotten a lot of texts from him.
Well, that's good though. I like the fact that your dad is thinking about your channel because I know my dad is definitely thinking about mine. So dads are on the our dads are on the same page when it comes to this, Bat Dad. I mean, that's good. That's a good thing, for real.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And that's right. It shows my dad is invested in my channel. So I do appreciate that. And I do want people to know, I told my dad when we watched the movie, and I told him last night when I sent him the link to this stream that I was going to blame him for this. So he is 100% aware that I'm doing this. But when I went to visit him over the weekend, last weekend, I went to visit him. He made me watch it. He made me watch the whole thing from beginning to end. And I'm like, you know what? Hold on, getting the internet's bad signal. So I don't know. Is my internet bad? Can you hear me fine, Zod?
I can hear you perfect.
Okay, then I'll go on. I'm like, you know what? I had to sit through this shit. I had to watch it. So you know what? I'm going to review it. If I had to sit through that movie, I am going to review it. And let's see. Okay. Okay, so that makes more sense. I was like, 13 times. Wow, you're really dedicated to James Gunn, W. Mira. But no, okay. So, yes, that is what happened. My dad made me watch the film. So, and honestly, enough time has passed where I'm not really concerned about giving the film engagement. If it gave it engagement, cool. It's been weeks now. Because here's the thing. Actually, I'm going to talk box office next because this transitions us perfectly. Because you know what? The film did what it did, okay? The box office happened. Sorry, just moving some links around real quick. The box office happened. It did what it did. So let's talk some box office. So here it is. Superman Large box office fails to hit 600 million as Batman looms large, as in Matt Reeves the Batman. And James Gunn, again, has failed to hit the $600 million mark at the box office. After 38 days, something that Matt Reeves the Batman achieved in 18 days. And I don't care about this conspiracy theory, but here, so it's brought in $340 million, let's just say $341 million domestically and $254 million internationally. Again, guys, I'm rounding. I'm saying I'm rounding. So this brings it to a rounding total of $595 million. Because you round to when you get 5, you round to the nearest whole number. So you know what's funny, Zod? I heard so many people say this film was going to make $1 billion. And Qatar, if you just missed my explanation about why I watched the film, catch it on replay. I just went over that. So, because your opinion matters to me. So I want you to know. Anyways. What people need to remember, this film, and I'm just going to go by what Gunny Poo has said. What Gunny Poo and WBD has said. Do I suspect it's more? Absolutely. But I'm just going to go with what they said. 225 million for production, 100 million for marketing. Theaters take 50% of the sales, at least domestically. Internationally, they may take less, they may take more, but point is, they don't make everything. They don't make the entire budget. So they have to make about 700 million to break even and make a profit. It didn't do that, Zod. I guess, Zod, what's your thoughts on this?
I didn't expect it to make $1 billion, and I didn't take anybody seriously who said it was going to make $1 billion. I mean, my good friend Robert Meyer Burnett was talking about it making $1 billion, and I kind of argued with him. And I told him straight out, Rob, I don't know how you see $1 billion. I don't see anything remotely, $1 billion. And he seemed to believe that it was going to make $1 billion because the movie was going to appeal to children and that parents were going to take their kids to see it. And that's how it was going to make $1 billion. Batman, I know somebody, okay, who I know a woman I've been friends with on Facebook for years, okay? And she's a big MCU fangirl. You know, she's in the same camp as Sox is. She loves the MCU. She wasn't a big fan of the Snyderverse. She loves James Gunn's Superman. She's literally been to see that movie in the theaters 13 times. Not only has she been to the movie to see it 13 times, the theater, to see it 13 times, she posts on her Instagram holding a ticket and posts about it to mark the occasion for every time she's gone to see this movie. So she is one of those fans that is supporting the hell out of this movie. Now, I don't know how many Gunn fans there are like that. I don't know. I don't know many, you know, because I tend to think that most James Gunn fans are bots because they spend all their time personally attacking and personally insulting people online. So they don't really, you know, so do these people even watch movies? Have they even seen Superman, or is their sole purpose in life just to antagonize other people so that they can, you know, so that they can big up James Gunn? I don't know, but I never expected it to make $1 billion. I never even expected it to get close to $1 billion. In fact, I didn't even think there was a chance it was going to beat Man of Steel. And I thought what was going to happen was almost exactly what did happen. It wasn't going to beat Man of Steel. So people were going to rely on the domestic total and keep using the domestic total to tout some sort of big win when it's a massive failure, because you and I both know that you don't just count the domestic total when you count the box office at the movies. The box office is worldwide. The box office is not based solely on domestic total. But this is all these Gunn fanatics have to go on. All they have is the domestic total. Because as soon as you start bringing up the overall box office, as soon as you start bringing up adjusted for inflation, that seems to bother them too, even though adjusting for inflation is a very, very realistic and used metric that has often been used, you know, to judge the success of reboots and movies like this in the past. They want you to forget about all of that because James Gunn is a saint and he can do no wrong, and his films are perfect. Even though every single person that I've seen try to defend is walking on eggshells trying to defend the box office of this movie. Batman, I really don't understand it. It did not do well. So I don't understand why people have to continue to lie and try to cope. If this is every time a Zack Snyder movie comes out and it kind of underperforms, or it's kind of, all these people are jumping on it and talking about how it underperformed. You know, they call Rebel Moon Rebel Mid, and they do all this stuff. They attack stuff like that. And then when you apply the same logic to this Superman box office, everybody loses their mind and touts the domestic total like it's some grand victory. So to answer your question, I don't know, Batman. I don't understand. It's beyond me. Like, I can't even comprehend the idea of it even getting to $1 billion. Just would be like impossible.
Well, you know what I love what you said about inflation, though, Zod? The funny thing is, if you compare it to Man of Steel, you don't even have to adjust for inflation. For a 12-year-old movie, a 12 or 13-year-old movie, I'm bad at math. 12. A 12-year-old movie, Zod, you don't have to adjust for inflation, and Man of Steel still beats it. That's the funny thing. Man of Steel wins without inflation.
Man of Steel wins without inflation. Tickets were cheaper. And it still sold more tickets. It sold more tickets than this movie. And like not just a few more tickets. I mean, we're talking literally thousands upon thousands of more tickets, man. It's crazy, bro.
Absolutely. And W Mir, this comment is a pinned comment of the day. That is the pinned comment right here. Rebel Moon got more views than Superman. If only the Curly Ray Rebel Moon theory were here to see this, but he'll see this on replay. So, and and here's the thing: I'll tell you this too, Zod. Even though my dad made me watch the film, I'll tell you right now, he hated the film as much as I did. He didn't like the film either.
So did my parents. Mine were the same way.
I mean, here's the thing: like, you have to justify. Because here's my big thing: not only do you have to justify. Like they say, like, oh, well, it's the starter of the universe. It's the starter of a universe, so it doesn't need to be profitable. Okay, so Gunny Poo cost the last 4 films of the DCEU money because you announced the reboot while there's 4 more DCEU movies coming out. So he did that, plus his notes definitely ruined some of those movies. So you lost money on those 4 movies plus this one now. Like, when do you eventually make a profit and make up for all those losses? You have to make up the losses for 5 movies now. Is Supergirl going to do that? Is Clayface going to do that? Or are they building up for the next movie?
This is my biggest issue. If you couldn't do it with Superman, what makes you think you're going to be successful with these other options? I mean, if Superman was the measuring stick, Superman was supposed to make $1 billion. Hell, some of James Gunn's fanatics were saying it was supposed to make $2 billion. So if it couldn't even get past Man of Steel, what hope does the rest of the universe have?
Exactly, Zod. Exactly. So DCU is not looking good right now, Zod. Unlike the 1P DCU, the One Punch Dan cinematic universe. You got One Punch Dan, you got Superman, which I don't know. I'm actually really looking forward to Superman right now after seeing the Superman movie. Can you talk about what Superman is?
I can. It's a little side story that takes place in the One Punch Dan universe about a normal guy who's trying to take on people that are, or corrupt people that are out of his league. It is a much more grounded story than, say, what you're going to see in One Punch Dan. One Punch Dan is a lot more grounded in scope. It's a lot bigger. A lot of stuff happening, a lot of characters, whereas Superman focuses primarily on one guy's story in his life in that same world. So it's really it's going to be a side story. It's just something I'm doing for fun that's going to be pretty interesting in comparison. Because I am, doing an awful lot with One Punch Dan. So I'm trying to scale things back with Superman Hood Legacy. So that's another project that, like I said, will be in the One Punch Dan universe, but won't be as, the stakes won't be as high as they are for One Punch Dan.
And anything you want to say about One Punch Dan?
I currently have close to 35 minutes of One Punch Dan fully edited together and ready to go. I am little by little editing this movie together. And if I go at the current pace that I'm currently working at, I should have the movie fully edited from start to finish within a month tops. I mean, because I'm literally averaging about 2 minutes per of footage per day. And I'm adding it on little by little. The Bishop is in the chat. The Bishop is the only other person alive other than myself that is seeing this movie come alive in real time, because he's literally watching the daily cuts I do of this movie from day to day. He watches them with me. So I'm able to, I'm able to get a little bit of feedback and get a little bit of, opinion on, certain things. But it's definitely coming along, and it will be done fairly soon. I can tell you right now that it is fairly close to being done. I consider this editing part to be post-production, because it is literally just, I'm like inside of my destination at this point. So I'm getting really excited now.
Absolutely, and I'm really excited for this film, and I'll tell people right now, there's moments where, because the reason why I haven't seen this film yet, or parts of this film, is I want to be surprised. There's moments where I have to kind of tell Zod, Zod, shut up. I want to be surprised. I want to actually hear how this,
I realize that, and that's exactly why I haven't said, hey man, and that, and that was another thing with me. You were like, about, you coming over and us hanging out. That would be awesome. Except if you come over, wherever I am in the movie, I'm going to want to show you the movie. I'm going to want to show you where I'm at. So if you come over after your vacation, and I got the entire movie done, or close to having the entire movie done, if you walk into my apartment, we're watching that movie. So I don't know. So see, that's the whole thing. I mean, it's gonna get spoiled for you if you see me before the movie is done. And that's the other thing that, I was, so that's the way I was looking at it. But I'm getting really excited for One Punch Dan now. And Bishop is getting really excited too, because he's actually getting to see it with me on a daily basis. He's seeing all the footage. So he's seeing it come together. So I'm excited for everybody. Qatar, we just got to catch you at a time when you're, awake. I know it's a time zone thing. So we got to catch you at a time when you're, when you're alive, for us to sit down and watch it. Because I know you would be just as excited as Bishop to see it all coming together the way that it is. So I'm excited for everybody to see this. I'm just so hyped. It's insane to me. This is huge. Like, I'm just so happy for all of you guys to see you guys as these characters. I feel like I've been working on this movie for a lifetime, and it's just been unbelievable. And the way it's just growing and just blossoming into this beautiful cinematic comic book movie, but that's not based on a comic book. Oh, it's incredible.
Absolutely, Zod. Absolutely. And I can't wait to see all the characters except for just Josh. Honestly, you could write that character out and I'd be like, you know what? Perfect film.
Well, I don't know if you'd really want me to write just Josh out, because he's a really good character, and you guys have your moments in the film. I will put it to you that way. But at the end of the day, the film is a wonderful experience, and I think everybody gets their just due. And just Josh is not. Yeah, he's definitely not. He's not going to be disappointed with some of the stuff that he has in this movie either.
I figured as much, but still, I'm really excited. I'm really excited for the work you're doing with the Zod and Sin Havoc. Just so you know, I did give just a quick explanation. My dad made me watch the film, made me watch Superman. That's why I watched it. Wanted you to know. But anyways, back to One Punch Dan. Yeah, I'm really excited for this film, Zod. You've done so much work for this, and I look at that One Punch Dan, and I'm like, even though I'm working out now, I'm not going to look that good in real life. I'll tell you that now.
You know what? One Punch Dan is somebody for you to strive to. It's like, how they say, you want to become the best version of yourself. that's what you do. You become the best version of yourself, and you give yourself an ideal to strive for. You give yourself something to push for, to build towards. I mean, I mean that's really the way that I look at it. I mean, I look at all of you guys, and like I've been telling people, I try to put the best aspects of the people that I know that are in this movie, that I know personally, that are in this movie. I wanted to accentuate their most positive attributes while giving them giving them their, real human flaws and human traits. But at the end of the day, I love the way, like, just hearing you say something like that, like, I'm never going to be able to, but you might be able to, because One Punch Dan is, the character at its core is you, Bat Dan. You're that character at its core. In that universe, that's who you would be. And that's how I approached this when I wrote the script to this movie. I approached it as every single person that I'm writing for, this is who they would be if they were in this movie. So I definitely, I'm definitely proud of all you guys. You guys are all amazing actors. You guys have done some terrific work on this movie. I am super excited, and I can't wait to do the commentary. Can't wait to watch everything with you guys and do a commentary track. You and I, Bat Dan, I think are going to record a commentary track together live from my apartment. We'll do a commentary track watching the movie together, as, like a video commentary, watching the movie together. And we'll have it there for everybody. And it'll be on the 4K Blu-ray when that comes out. Because I really want to, I really want everybody to, it's going to be a thrill for me to be able to sit there with my lead actor and actually talk about this movie and talk about your experiences while doing this movie. Yeah, there's definitely going to be a commentary, Sin Havoc, for sure. There's going to be commentaries with basically anybody in the cast who wants to participate is going to be more than welcome to participate in the commentaries. Yeah, so there'll be a few of those.
Yes, Qatar, 4K Blu-ray, commentary, and this is unlike the cinematic universe we're going to be talking about today. This is one cinematic universe I am excited for. I'm excited for the work you've done with this. I'm excited that I get to be the lead of a superhero without actually having to do any real work whatsoever. All I had to do, guys, was give Zod permission to clone my voice. That's all I had to do. Everything else?
Well, clone your voice and use your likeness to be able to come up with One Punch Dan.
Did you use my likeness? No, I feel like he looks a lot better than I do in real life.
But see, that's the thing. It's an approximation. He doesn't look exactly like you. But he's, but he favors you to the point where it's kind of like, yeah, so in a way it's kind of like, yeah, he does, but he does kind of look like you. I'm not going to lie. He looks like you, but I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying about, not really looking like you, but yeah, he does. I mean, he definitely, and yeah, he definitely has your voice. That is for sure.
And I love Sin Havoc's comments here. You're literally going to have Bat Dan's thoughts in the very literal sense.
Yeah, literally.
And I cannot wait for this movie, Zod. I think I'm really...
Oh, you did see... I forgot. Qatar was with me and Bishop when we watched the initial first cut I did of the first footage I cut together, and he got to see her, and Qatar got to see your origin. Yeah. That's
Please do not do this, Zod. Do not do this.
Well, Socks, you I'm not gonna say it.
I know what you're talking about.
You, you know, before I even said anything, I had to stop myself. I just had to stop myself.
But
Well, it's funny that you say One Punch Dan looks like Bat Dan and Zodwriter, because I'm actually a character. Dr. Zod is actually a character in the movie as well. He's a separate character, and he favors me in the way that One Punch Dan favors Bat Dan. So I kind of, so I tried to make everybody actually look, as close to their real life version as possible, without, with of course taking some liberties. I mean, he's a superhero, so he's going to look a little different, but my character is a secret agent, though. So,
what up, Daniel? I think this is the first time I've seen you on this channel, so welcome. But yeah, I again, those on, I cannot wait. This is gonna be a great universe. This is gonna be a great movie. Unlike what we're about to talk about. Unlike this shit that we're about to talk about. So, you ready to just get this over with?
sure.
Okay. The setting. What's your thoughts on the setting of this movie?
I mean, we were just thrown into it. It wasn't like there was really anything to it. I mean, we had Lex Luthor calling out bingo numbers. I don't know. James Gunn did teach me something, though, in my editing of One Punch Dan. That's what I forgot to mention. Now that we're talking about the setting, and we've kind of kicked it off a little bit, we're going to talk about this movie. He taught me something in my editing. I was like, I like the one thing that I like about the way that the movie, the way that it sets you up. The one thing that I thought was particularly for the audience that this movie is made for, the people that are constantly scrolling on TikTok and have absolutely no attention span. He just kind of goes from one thing to the next, and it's like, it's like boom, 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 boom. But you can get a lot of information out in those boom, 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 boom. It tells you a lot about, what kind of a movie is being set up. And while I don't think it was done particularly well here, I was able to adopt some of those techniques in my editing of One Punch Dan, so that the pacing moves in a way that is going to be acceptable to people that don't have much of an attention span. If you can't sit still for 30 seconds, I think you'll like One Punch Dan, because One Punch Dan kind of moves at a fairly brisk pace, at least starting out. So as far as the setting for this goes, I wish James Gunn would have did a better job setting it up, because he gives you that little title card at the beginning where he gives you a little bit of information, and he thinks it's cute. But if he would have set it up a little bit better, he wouldn't have needed a title card. He could have had it explained a little better in exposition, and kind of, because I like title cards. Title cards are neat, but he just kind of, I don't know. I was underwhelmed, to say the least, with the setting, Bad Dan.
I was too, honestly. There's nothing special about it. It's a setting that, he's been Superman for a decent amount of time, 3 years, because it's always 3. It's like 3 million years ago, it was like 300 years ago, metahumans were introduced. 3 years ago, Superman came in. I don't remember everything about that exactly, but still, it's just, there's nothing special about the setting. It really isn't, and it just, I'm just gonna go straight to the opening, because here's my big issue with the opening, the setting. I thought I was watching the second or third act of the film. I really did. If I like, I'm like, this feels like this should have happened later in the movie. Like when you see Superman battling Lex Luthor, or like Superman gets defeated. He has to call Crypto for help, and he's all of a sudden battling Lex Luthor, and the way everything's like looking established. I'm like, did we see like was there like another like hour of this movie in the beginning that was cut? Because that's what it feels like to me. It feels like there was an hour of this movie that we were supposed to see that they just yanked out and just we'll put a title card up that covers it. Oh, but we have to like have all this other no title card. We don't need to cover it. That's what it felt like to me.
A1. Okay. Yeah, that was the A1 was the repeated. Believe A1 was the repeated punch to the face. Bow. B12.
Yep, we are talking about it. Absolutely, Daniel. We're talking about that garbage movie. Like, normally I don't spoil how I feel about the movie till the end. No, fuck that shit. That movie was garbage. And yeah, and plus, here's my big issue with the opening too, Zod. Our first impression of Superman, he gets his ass kicked. Oh, Superman! The title card says this was his first fight he lost. Show, don't tell.
Why do we? Why? And that's a question I have. Why does the first time we see him, do we have to see him getting his butt kicked? Why do we have to see this? That's what I don't understand. Like, okay, so you're saying this is the first time, but why are we seeing this? Why is it important for the audience to see that? Why didn't we get to see the victory? I'm with you. I'm like, why didn't we see the movie before this one?
Yes.
That sounds like it would have been a better movie. It sounds like it would have been a better Superman movie, to be honest with you.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. It's almost like, maybe he took like a certain script. No, I'm not. I don't even want to attribute that. I don't think that what the Man of Steel 2 script was. I don't even want to say that Gunn copied that. Like, I don't want to say that at all because that's insulting to Stephen Knight and Henry Cavill to say, and Christopher McQuarrie. I'm not. No, forget that. No. It was just an awful opening that doesn't establish anything. And you got those stupid robots, and you know what? Let's just move on. Soundtrack. Gunny Poo's known for his soundtracks. Guardians of the Galaxy. That's like what the movie's really known for. John Williams was used again. Look, I love John Williams. Great soundtrack for Christopher Reeve, but it doesn't need to be repeated in every single goddamn movie. It's nice to see some originality, like Zack Snyder did.
But they switched composers midway through post-production. So...
Oh, you mean like Justice League?
Yeah, so they fired the original composer. So it makes you wonder what the original music was supposed to be if they fired the first composer.
I don't know. I wonder, was it better? Was it worse? Who knows? Because, honestly, it was just nothing special. It actually kind of ruined some moments. Like I'm not gonna lie, Zod. I actually didn't hate the Mr. Terrific fight scene with Lois. I didn't totally hate that, except for the soundtrack, except for the song that played. It just felt like it took like the badass moment out of Mr. Terrific.
Like I was looking at a way that scene could have been fixed just by rescoring that scene. That's all you needed. All you needed was a nice score playing or a better song, and you would have had, and it would have made the scene 10,000 times better.
Absolutely, Zod.
Soundtracks are important to movies. I'm telling you that. I'm telling you that right now. Soundtracks. There's a reason why I came up with so much music for One Punch Man. There's a score. There's there's actual songs. I mean, me, Bishop, and Qatar have been working together as Joden Music, have been creating music now for the longest, and you're going to hear all types of different songs, all types of different music in this movie. And when you look at what they're doing here with Superman, the score sucked, and his choice of music was terrible. And Kindness is the New Punk Rock is the biggest cop out and the stupidest thing I've ever heard of in my life. Punk rock was not about kindness. If you know anything about punk rock, just look up the origins of punk rock on Wikipedia. There's nothing about punk rock that embodies kindness to say that kindness is the new punk rock. That's literally the stupidest thing that you could possibly say. And not only that, it's hypocritical coming from James Gunn when his entire fan base is a bunch of bots who spend all their time online attacking anybody who says anything critical about this movie. It's like, what are we talking about? It's like, are these what world is he living in? This movie is one of the most mean-spirited, stupid movies I've ever seen. It doesn't offer you any kind of hope when you think about it. And this is pertaining to the music. The music was horrible. The score was just a cheap, Dollar General version of, the John Williams music. Hell, Superman Returns, the movie score by comparison with Superman Returns is like Superman Returns. The score for that movie is like Superman 78 in comparison to what we got with this version. And then if you want to compare it to Hans Zimmer, right? Batman, you want to compare it to Hans Zimmer, it's worlds different. This movie literally makes me believe in the multiverse, because the only way that this movie exists is if it's in its own pocket little universe, because you cannot take it seriously. And the soundtrack did not help.
Absolutely, Zod. Absolutely. And Sky, cannot wait to see you this weekend. I'll say that. I will be going to LA and seeing Sky again. But yes, absolutely, Zod. The soundtrack is a character. Like, if you have a good soundtrack, that's a memorable part of the movie.
Yep.
Zack Snyder Justice League, that soundtrack gets stuck in my head. Man of Steel, Batman v Superman, same thing. This one, no. So
it was so forgettable too. I mean, I know people that are like fans of punk rock who were listening to this and who saw this movie and thought, my God, that was lame. That was a lame way to use punk rock. That was a lame way for the soundtrack. Nothing makes any sense. Yeah, I did write some metal songs for One Punch Man as well. There's some metal songs in there as well. But yeah, no. I would have to say this is one of the worst superhero soundtracks in recent memory, to go along with the rest of the movie. Because have you ever noticed, Batan, that on every movie that you watch, there's always at least something memorable about the music, if it's serviceable, right? I mean, if it doesn't even have to be the greatest soundtrack in the world, but there's got to be something memorable about it, right? It's got to stand out in some way, because like you said, it's a character. But in James Gunn's Superman, it was just lame from start to finish, from top to bottom. He was trying to recreate his Guardians of the Galaxy formula with the soundtrack, and it just failed miserably because it's not that kind of movie.
Yeah, exactly. And also forgettable, the story. It's such a boring story, honestly. It doesn't. I mean, first of all, we see a Superman who gets his ass kicked constantly. Then, the public hates him because of his parents being evil dictators, which, kind of goes. All these Superman purists are all of a sudden very quiet now on
But
this. But
allegedly James Gunn retconned that in the home video version where he has a throwaway scene in there where Maxwell Lord, I guess, accuses Lex Luthor of doctoring. It's like a news blurb, and I guess accuses Lex Luthor of somehow doctoring the footage of Superman's Kryptonian parents. So it's like James Gunn. Basically, it's like James Gunn and Warner Brothers kind of walking that back a little bit because they got so much backlash over the idea of Jor-El and Lara sending Kal-El to Earth to conquer.
Oh yeah, yeah, because who would actually want that? Who would? I mean, first of all, it's funny because Gunny Poo insisted that the message was real. He insisted that it was real, and it's probably, that wouldn't surprise me if if Gunny Poo called his brother and was like, "Hey, we need you to refilm a scene. We need to film a new scene for the home release. We gotta say that this is fake now, okay?"
Well, they didn't. It wasn't actually a scene. It was just like a little news blurb where it came up as just a flash, like a line of text where it was on the screen, like Maxwell Lord accuses Lex Luthor of doctoring Superman's parents' footage or something, to put the doubt in people's minds that that's real and that it could have been doctored. And now some of these people online are saying, "Oh no, that's just James Gunn, the genius that he is. He's setting up Brainiac. It was Brainiac that doctored that footage to fool Kal-El so that I mean the mental gymnastics people are going to defend this story. Listen, it's garbage. There's nothing original about it. It's derivative as hell. I don't understand how he got. Who told James Gunn, it's a good idea for you to use a variant of the. If there's a good idea if you use a variant of the Kingdom Come Superman logo for Corn Sweat's emblem, it's a good idea that you do that. How is that a good idea? That's not even remotely what that symbol is supposed to represent. That Kingdom Come Superman logo is supposed to represent something entirely different thematically. Just ask Alex Ross, the artist who came up with it. I mean, give me a break. I struggle with this plot because it was so generic and so boring. You know what you could do? You could compare this movie and Superman 4, The Quest for Peace, the Christopher Reeve. That's the closest I think you come to story beats, similar story beats. Not even really similar, but similar in a sense that in the way that the story kind of goes. So you could almost put those two together and you watch Superman 4, The Quest for Peace, and Superman 4, The Quest for Peace is still a better movie. And that's considered the worst of the Christopher Reeve movie. It was the last of the Christopher Reeve movies, and it's considered the worst. But it's still a better movie than freaking than this one. It was bad, but it's still a better movie than this one. You're still going to have a better time watching Superman 4. There's a fan edit of Superman 3 and 4 out together. It's called Superman Redeemed, and it essentially combines elements of Superman 3 with Superman 4 and creates one cohesively good movie. And it's actually pretty decent. And they do a good job of basically redeeming both of those movies and making it a watchable experience. And if you compare that fan edit, I'm not even talking about the movies themselves. You just compare that fan edit to James Gunn's Superman, you're gonna have a better Superman watching experience for sure.
Honestly, anything that sounds better than this film, honestly. So I would not be surprised. It's just I don't have anything else to say about the story though, Zod. I really don't. It's just other than that twist, it's just a basically generic story. Turn public against Superman. Use social media, like comment on social media. Throw indirect shade at the Snyder fans with the monkeys, hashtagging super shit, stuff like that.
I didn't even take that as I heard that he had a direct reference in the test screenings that he had a direct reference to the Snyder fans when the monkeys were typing, but they took it out of the movie. There was like a direct knock at like the Snyder fandom, but it was removed because James Gunn didn't want the heat because he had enough. He's got enough heat, so they took it out.
Well, to be honest, the only reason I even look at it associated with the Snyder fandom is just because that's what the Gunny Poo bots are using. They're using that monkey gif to argue.
Yeah. Because it's definitely supposed to, it's supposed to kind of represent us or anybody that doesn't like what James Gunn is doing. Yeah.
I hope so, Qatar. I hope so. But honestly, the story's forgettable, and this Superman is a whiny little bitch. Like, my God. He is just, first of all, the whole interviewing yourself thing. I agree with Lois. That's fraud. That's not okay. And then he yells at his girlfriend. He's yelling at his girlfriend because she's challenging him. I'm like, dude, yelling does not make you sound smart. You're just like so upset all the time. It's like, dude, you're whiny. You're just a whiny. You're a whiny little bitch. You get your ass kicked all the time. You need your dog to save you. I mean, sure, we're told that you haven't lost a fight before this movie, but really, we see you get your ass kicked throughout the whole movie. At the beginning of the movie, when you're fighting people, you need your dog to save you. This Superman is pathetic. He is a pathetic character. 100%. I don't like this Superman. And then he has this ridiculous hairpiece, but it's pointless because he has the hypno glasses. Why are you wearing such a ridiculous hairpiece if you have hypno glasses to disguise your face anyways?
Yeah, I'm confused by that myself.
And honestly, like the hypno glasses, it's like the biggest throwaway line ever. It's like Guy Gardner mentions it once and it's never brought up again. Like, why even? Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised at all. But I just don't care about this character. This Superman, I'm just like, he's not Superman to me. He's not Superboy to me even. He's not a guy who has the potential of becoming Superman. He is just a guy who's wearing a Superman suit. Basketball turned into a Superman suit, if we're being honest here, if you look at that suit. But I don't know. What's your thoughts on suit? Hold on. Before you go there, I'm gonna just like edit this. I'm just gonna edit this banner real quick because I'm sorry. I can't call this guy Superman. I just need to just add a quick little addendum to this. Here we go. We're just gonna say this because this is the best I can do. I'm sorry. So, what's your thoughts on Superman in this movie?
There was nothing super about him. I was just surprised that this is what passes for Superman in 2025.
Oh, sorry, I just read a text. My dad, I guess, saw the part where I blamed him. So, love you, Dad, but had to give an explanation. Anyways, yeah, no, you're right, Zod. You're absolutely right. It's just like, here's the thing. I don't want to keep going back to Henry Cavill so much, but here's the thing. Here's why in this case I am. Because this came at the expense of Henry Cavill. Okay? We were going to get Man of Steel 2. Henry Cavill had announced he was back. And then they took that under 2 months later. They were like, nope, not happening. We lost that for this Superman.
Yeah, that's the reason to be upset. That's the biggest reason to be upset. The fact that's what we basically traded. We traded in Henry Cavill for, this is like one of the worst possible trades that anybody could have made. Man of Steel 2 would have made some serious money.
Oh yeah.
You know, they wanted something that was going to surpass Man of Steel. Make a Man of Steel 2.
Yes. And I'll even say
and let me ask you something. How does the studio feel, Bat Dad, when this Superman, okay, didn't even beat Man of Steel? If this Superman isn't better than Man of Steel, then what was the point? When you couldn't even make as much money as the franchise that you're replacing, essentially.
Yeah.
I don't get it.
And I've said, like, I was even fine with someone other than Zack Snyder directing Man of Steel 2. I wanted Zack to do ZSGL 2 and 3, but as long as the director sticks.
But Zack would have been involved. He would have been involved in some way in a Man of Steel 2.
Yeah.
Even if he wasn't, he would have either been on board as a producer or a creative consultant. He would have had something to do with Man of Steel 2.
Yes, exactly, Dennis. And we also lost Tyler Hoechlin as Superman. I mean, I've enjoyed Superman Lois. I thought it was a pretty good show. I know Sin Havoc doesn't agree with me. I know you may not even agree with me.
It's a hell of a lot better than what we got now. That's for sure.
I mean,
oh
yeah, absolutely. And I will say this too: it got a proper ending, but I can tell that there was meant to be more than one season. Because season 4, they were like cramming in all these storylines that they meant to have 3 more seasons after. Like, you could totally tell if you watch the film the series, that they crammed a bunch of storylines in. All for this Superman. He's not, I agree with Lex Luthor. He's not a Superman. Or he says he's not a man, I guess. He's not a man. But he's a clown. That's what he is. He's like, or he's a clown or a whiny little bitch, but he's not Superman. Look, Corn Sweat, I wish you the best of luck. I hope you get a role in Star Wars, because I know you said if you had a choice between Superman again or a Jedi or Star Wars specifically, that you would choose Star Wars. You know what, Zod?
James Gunn would just recast him. James Gunn is not. That's the thing about James Gunn. He's not. I don't think he would have a problem recasting David Cornsweet with somebody else if Cornsweet decided he was going to take another role over Superman. I mean,
yeah, doesn't go well when you recast.
It sounded like they had a bit of a difference in ideology when they were making this movie. From what I heard, they got into a lot of back and forth. There were some reports that they had some pretty epic fights, on the set of the movie. So I don't know how true that is, but
I mean, Zod, do you really expect me to believe that Gunny Poo had such a big ego that he was arguing with the lead of the movie? Does that really sound like Gunny Poo to you?
Yeah.
Yeah, it does. I don't know if it's true though. I'm not, I don't want to start speculation and say this fact. I'm just saying that I could believe it. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying too. I don't know if it's true because I wasn't there. I cannot independently verify it, but it sure sounds like something that is possible.
You know what I want to see, Zod? I kind of want to see this now. When we eventually get Zack Snyder's Justice League 2 and 3, I kind of want to see Zack Snyder cast David Cornsweet in a role. I kind of want to see that now. I think it would be so poetic that he has such a better role in Zack Snyder's movies, Zack Snyder's DC, than the actual Superman movie.
He'll cast him. He'll cast him as Jonathan Kent,
like young Jonathan Kent, because we already had Kevin Costner.
Yeah.
Okay, Sin Havoc. Okay, but yeah, maybe. Who knows? But yeah, that would be really cool to see, actually. But now, Lois Lane. I'm going to be honest. I think Rachel Brosnahan did a pretty okay job. Did a pretty good job. I'm not going to lie. I didn't like the direction they went with the character, but I believe Rachel Brosnahan was Lois Lane. I will say that. I totally believed in this movie that she was Lois Lane. But
yeah, I mean, she's, she kind of reminded me of like she was playing like a live action version of the Superman the animated series version of Lois Lane. That's what she reminded me of.
What up, Bell Rev? And I'm glad you said that, Zod, because that's the exact vibe I got off her from the trailers, is that she just looked like animated series Lois Lane. I mean, I think her outfit is exactly the DCAU Lois Lane.
Oh, yeah.
But here's what did kind of bother me, Zod. They've been dating for 3 months. You told her your secret already? This isn't like Man of Steel where she figured it out. I mean, maybe this Lois did figure it out too.
Yeah, it's just something we don't know because there's a whole movie that we didn't see.
Exactly, Zach. Like, here's the thing. If you don't show it or mention it, it didn't happen. Here's the thing. You don't get these explanations in your favor unless you mention them or it's somewhat implied. But like, here, as far as we know, Superman just told some woman that that he barely knows. I mean, this isn't like he knows the Superman comics where Superman and Lois are destined to be together. I mean, you just told some random woman your secret. And yes, Amy Adams was definitely better.
Oh yeah. We're not even going to go there comparing. That's not even, that's not even a thing. I'm just saying that for this particular for the movie, if you could call it that, what we got here, Rachel Brosnahan was fine in her role. I would say that she was the least of the movie's problems. Let's just put it that way. For real.
Yeah. I would say my biggest issue with this Lois Lane is in the third act, she's kind of pointless. That's basically it. I mean, she gets the Justice Gang to help Superman. Or Mr. Terrific, really. But other than that, she doesn't do anything. She has this whole arc with Mr. Terrific's ship and the Daily Planet crew. I'm like, you didn't really do anything. We just kind of showed you guys flying that ship, and you didn't really contribute anything at all, if we're being honest here. I mean, other people actually exposed Lex Luthor. I mean, we'll get into Jimmy Olsen later. Remember saying Jimmy Olsen's actually the one who exposed Lex Luthor, not Lois Lane. Lois Lane was actually, even though Rachel Brosnahan did a good job, Lois Lane was kind of pointless a little bit into the movie, to be honest.
Yeah, I can agree with her being pointless. But what I'm saying is from a character standpoint, she was given a better script and something more to work with.
Yes. Exactly. Exactly. And you know what, Zack Snyder? Why don't you cast Rachel Brosnahan on something, one of your projects while you're at it? I mean, you did with Dave Bautista, so just take over all these discarded Gunny Poo actors and just give them better roles in your movies. They deserve it. It's not their fault that they
I
have
mean,
terrible directors.
didn't it come out today that Zach's next film is finally going to be The Last Photograph? That's the movie that Zach has been floating around for years, and it's finally happening.
Yes, yes, exactly. You know, it would be really funny if it starred David Cornsweet and Rachel Brosnahan. That'd be so. Well, I know it's not going to start. I think he has other actors. They said other actors in mind, but it'd be funny if those two had a big role in that movie. I think that would be so hilarious. But yeah, Sin Havoc, absolutely. That's a fair point too. And a spy film. Okay, but now
Well, there is some controversy with Rachel Brosnahan, though. Apparently, Rachel Brosnahan's husband, real life husband, is jealous of all the kissing that Cornsweet and Brosnahan did both on screen and off screen. Apparently, there's some trouble in paradise there.
well,
So
here's the thing. No matter what, I never hope for a marriage to fail. I hope that, if this is true, that Rachel Brosnahan and her husband worked it out. I do hope that. But I'm just going to say, actors, be careful. We understand on set you have to do stuff, but
yeah, well, apparently the problem was I guess they enjoyed making out with each other so much that they made out with each other over an hour off screen to prepare for their on-screen kiss. But I will say this, I think the two of them do have good chemistry as actors. It would just be nice to see them together in something else.
yeah.
To be honest.
I would like that too. That's what I'm saying. I want Zack Snyder.
That'd be a good movie. The Brosnahan Cornsweet Affair. That'd be a good movie. Oh my God. That's awesome.
And I do want to clarify, this is all allegedly right now. If it comes out later on that this is true,
it was actually reported. There's like an article out about it.
So, okay. Never mind then.
So I don't know. I don't know how true it is, but the article.
I mean, I haven't trusted the media for a long time. I mean, you know how I feel about the mainstream media after they lied about Ezra Miller, so who knows, actually. But now, Lex Luthor. I'm going to say this. My favorite Lex Luthor, to this day, even after seeing this movie, is Jesse Eisenberg. My least favorite Lex Luthor, after seeing this movie, is Nicholas Hoult. That was not Lex Luthor. He was another whiny little bitch, honestly.
Every time I saw him on screen, I got upset. Because they didn't give him anything to do. They just made him so completely uninteresting. And his reasons, everything that he did was so boring.
Yeah, he hates Superman. Cool. But there's nothing interesting about him. He just looks like a punk, honestly. He just looks like some bratty kid, to be honest. I didn't see him as a methodical Lex Luthor. He wasn't that. And and my dad pointed this out to me too, because my dad is very picky about speedsters and stuff. Like whenever a character is supposed to be fast, he gets very annoyed when the speed doesn't come into play. He was very annoyed that in the time that it took Lex Luthor to say his command of 1A, B-12, you sunk my battleship, whatever.
Bingo.
In the time it took for them to enter in that command for Ultraman to respond, that Superman wasn't fast enough to beat him before that. That's kind of a good point. It sounds like a cool idea in theory that he's using these commands, but it just doesn't really make sense. And then it's just he's a dumbass. It's like he was risking the Earth with a black hole. What are you doing? I know that Lex Luthor is reckless, but he's not stupid.
Well, this Lex Luthor is stupid.
Yes. You know, here's the thing. At least Jesse Eisenberg, he had a plan. He was smart. He was manipulative. He was everything that Lex Luthor is supposed to be.
I love this comment by Bell. Oh my God. Yeah. It's unbelievable. He's so accurate, right? He's comic book accurate, isn't he? Doesn't this Nicholas Holt's version of Lex Luthor just like exude comic book accuracy to you?
Yeah.
I don't understand why if they were adapting Superman the animated series like some of these gunbots are saying, oh, it was a live action version of Superman the animated series. Why didn't they borrow from Superman the animated series for the characterization of Lex Luthor? Nicholas Hoult is a good enough actor; he could have pulled it off. So why didn't they do that? It could have been like a cross between the Lex Luthor in Superman the animated series and the Lex Luthor in Smallville, and you would have had. And Lex Luthor could have been portrayed fairly decently with Nicholas Hoult. It just seems like James Gunn was just going for the goofiest possible portrayals of these characters. Like, James Gunn's not about comic book accuracy. He's not even about the characters themselves being true to who they are in any other iteration. He just wants to make up his own goofy version of these characters. Every version has to be goofy. Look at Peacemaker. Look at Vigilante. Look at all the characters that James Gunn has taken and created his own twisted, warped versions of these characters.
Yes. And
that's the other thing. Jesse Eisenberg was a great Lex Luthor. It made sense that you would cast the guy from The Social Network. I mean,
I want to see. I want to still see Jesse Eisenberg in ZSJL 2 and 3. And yes, in Havoc. Yes, that's another whole separate issue. But I will say this again: Michael Rosenbaum, Mr. Krabs. Those were good Lex Luthors. And I call Clancy Brown Mr. Krabs because I love SpongeBob. But as a kid, I did. But anyways, yeah, no. And I have to say this too, Zod. It was really nice of Lex Luthor to put Metamorpho's son so close that Superman would have no problem getting to him on time. I have to say that was really nice of Lex Luthor to do that. It was so nice of him not to put him like in a different universe or maybe outside the micro universe. I forgot what you even.
Well, everything has to be literally convenient because this movie has to move fast. It has to move. Remember, this movie was made for people that are scrolling on TikTok. So it has to move. You don't have time for all that extra stuff, Bat Dad. You don't have time to let the movie breathe. The movie has to move at a breakneck pace to keep up with these people's attention span.
What are you talking about, Son Havoc?
My bald-headed Joseph, the big bald baby. That's supposed to be me. Anyway, I liked that little baby. I thought that little CGI AI baby was cute. I was like, okay, well, at least the baby was a little more entertaining than the stupid dog. I mean, my God. But Lex Luthor, he I don't know. I want to anytime anybody says that he's like the greatest Lex Luthor or like the best Lex Luthor in cinema, that this was like peak acting on Nicholas Holt's part. I mean, I don't know what these people are smoking. This is how you know that it's bots. People can't be this stupid. And I don't even like saying that because that's not true. There are people out there that are that stupid. So, unfortunately, This is what we got. And I feel bad for Nicholas Hoult because I think Nicholas Hoult in another universe could have played a really good Lex Luthor. But now, because of this role, I wouldn't want to see him in that type of role again. I think he's ruined now because he played this character.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I agree. And do you notice that when they're invading the fortress, do you notice that all these, like, sparks and metal parts fall on his head and he appears unscratched? Did you notice that?
Oh, yeah. He almost like he's a metahuman himself. He just kind of walks it off.
Was that what you're implying, Gunny Poo, or was the CGI just... Did you just make a mistake on the CGI?
No, I think the CGI was just bad.
Yeah, probably.
Or I won't say CGI. The AI was just bad. Because I can tell you, because I've been using a lot of AI programs to make One Punch Man. So I can tell you right now that there are at least 3 different AI programs that were used in the creation of this Superman movie. And if I had some time, I would go through it frame by frame and show you which ones.
Oh, I could totally believe that. Gunny Poo has no originality. And now the Kents. They did not like is Kansas in the South? Is Kansas supposed to be in the South, Zod? I didn't like I know I'm not the best at geography, but I thought Kansas was in the Midwest, but with their southern accents, I guess they're in the South. Because Kansas takes place in the South. Who knew? I never knew this, son. I learned something from Superman. Is that Kansas actually takes place in the South? It's a southern state. I never knew this.
I don't know. I will be right back.
And for those who are clarifying, just to clarify, I'm being sarcastic. I'm 100% aware Kansas is not in the South, but they had southern accents. Martha and Jonathan Kent had southern accents. I'm like, what? Like, what? No. They, and I don't know, like, Martha Kent was just kind of which is useless. It's just, I hate when you have, like, the dumb parent who doesn't seem to know anything. Like, okay, she didn't know how to use a phone or something. Okay, classic old person joke. My parents both know how to use a phone. I can tell you that right now. But yeah, no, this movie, no. She just doesn't, I don't know, she just doesn't really do anything. She's not, like, I mean, I'll give this, at least Jonathan Kent gave Clark an inspirational speech. I can give him that, at least. But I don't know, there's just nothing special. They just didn't look like Martha and Jonathan Kent to me. They don't look like they were from Kansas. None of that stuff. And plus, here's the thing, too. Like, the Kent farm is like a double trailer. I'm like, isn't the Kent farm supposed to be like a farm that's been passed down from generation to generation? Was that just Smallville that did that? Because I'm pretty sure that's part of the Superman mythology, is that Superman is supposed to... And yes, I agree, Dennis. I mean, there's plenty of old people who know how to use technology. But anyways, isn't the Kent farm supposed to be passed down from generation to generation? Like, what's with this whole... Like, they're poor and they're living in a double trailer. Just... I don't know. Like, I hate they're just awful in this movie. They're just not, other than, like, maybe that one speech with Jonathan and Clark. But they're just, I don't know, they're just kind of there. And it's funny, at the end of the movie, when Clark's, like, showing, like, images of his, like, memories of his parents at the Fortress of Solitude. Here's my big question. Where did that footage come from? It's not Clark's memory, because that's being shown in the third person. If it was just Clark's memory, you should be seeing it from his perspective. But you're not. You see Clark right there. Where are these memories? Where is this footage coming from? Did the Fortress of Solitude, like, have cameras around the Kent farm their entire, like, Clark's entire childhood? Did that, like... Yeah, that's what I thought. That's what I thought. So, like, that's what I don't... I know that, like, I know maybe that's a nitpick, but no, details matter. Details matter. Where did all that footage in the Fortress of Solitude come from? Like, that's really creepy if they really, like, took cameras of the whole time of Clark being a child. Like, here's a floating fortress camera. Yes, I agree, Robin. I 100% agree. They made all these excuses for Gunning Poo, and then they throw shade at Zack Snyder and Jesse Eisenberg when their versions were superior. Their versions were 100% superior to this version right here. I'm just... Yeah, oh, sorry, I'm trying to pull up your comment. StreamYard is being very buggy right now. I hate StreamYard. I really hate StreamYard sometimes. Okay, here it is. But here's the thing. Yeah, it's a kids movie, except the cartoon that leads into it, Creature Commandos, from what I've heard, what I've seen from trailers, not a kids movie. Peacemaker Season 2, definitely not a kids show. Very adult show, but you need to see Superman first for Peacemaker. Like, exactly, Bell Rev, exactly. Well, while we wait for Zod to come back, I'll spoil this for you, Sin Havoc. Supergirl got drunk because she goes to planets with red suns, so she can get drunk. The only problem with that is that the instant she goes under a yellow sun, that alcohol should have no effect. Like, she should basically just get undrunk. It doesn't, like, it's not like once you're drunk, you stay, like, no, when you go under the yellow sun, all your inhibitions from the alcohol go away. Your inhibitions are bad. Your inhibitions, I mean. Or no, your inhibitions. Yeah, I can't talk. Here's the thing, Bellrap. The reason why Gunny Poo got away with Guardians of the Galaxy, why that was praised so much, no one knew who those characters were. Absolutely no one knew who those characters were. Like, I don't know if Socks, did you know who the Guardians of the Galaxy were? You probably did, because you're a big Marvel fan, but you can get away with making these obscure changes. The problem is with Superman, he's a well-known character. You can't do that. You cannot do that with Superman. You cannot make changes, like core changes to his character. Fans will revolt. People will revolt. That's what will happen. I see your speaker moving.
I'm back. Thank you. Oh my goodness.
So, what are your thoughts on the Kents in this movie?
I was a bit disappointed. We went from the Ma and Pa Kent of Man of Steel, and they were beautiful. They were delightful people. These people, I just couldn't relate to them, Bad Dan. I was having a hard time. You know, I don't want to speak ill of them because, you know, there are people like that, and they are sweet people, and I don't have anything against people like this, but I'm just gonna say that, I was underwhelmed.
And I don't know if you heard me say this, but remember at the end of the film with the Fortress of Solitude showing his memories of his parents?
Okay.
You notice how you see Clark there. You're not seeing it from his perspective. You're seeing like how like someone watching it would see the memories play out. Like how you see Clark playing with his parents. Where did that footage come from?
I don't know.
Like, did the Fortress of Solitude have cameras all over the Kent farm the whole time? Like taking videos of this?
Yeah, I don't know. Again, there's a lot of things in this movie, that being one of them, that just makes no sense. And Bell points that out. And there have been some, again, really nice Bell. I had the exact same experience you're talking about, and I've got nothing bad to say about people that are like this. There are people like that that are simple people, but sweet people, good-hearted, kind people, but not like no, because it's even harder now to believe that Clark Kent is the way that he is when those were his parents. It's not it's hard to believe, like, he's nothing like his parents.
And Bell Rev, I have a question for you. Kansas is exactly, that's what I'm saying. Like, Kansas is not part of the South, though. So even if they perfectly represent a Southern couple,
Yeah, they got a little bit of an accent in Kansas, but it's not like that. It's not like, yeah, and not only does Ma Kent sound like she's from Alabama, but she sounds like she's from like the real like heavy Alabama. Like, the accent is just, it was James Gunn. James Gunn was definitely going for a trailer park vibe. He was definitely going for a double wide trailer park like vibe with these people. I'm not even gonna because isn't that what he said, that they were in a trailer park? Like, isn't
yes.
that what I mean? How is it possible that Clark Kent is the way he is when he was raised by these two people?
Yeah, Zon.
I don't know what happened. Like, what happened? Who raised that boy? Who raised them? For real? Who raised him? What in what world? Exactly, Bell. In what world is this? I just, like I said, I have nothing against the people. That's fine. They were beautiful people. Fine, great. They're wonderful people, but it doesn't mesh well with Clark Kent. It's like Clark Kent being. It's almost like Clark Kent being raised in Russia, and then coming back to America, and not having a Russian accent, and not being anything like his Russian heritage. That would actually be more believable than what we see in this movie with the Kents.
Yeah, because that's a good point, Zod. Clark Kent should have an accent too. He should have that same accent that his parents have.
Not only that, he should be a lot simpler of a guy too. There's a certain level of, not going to say low IQ, because he's not. They're not dumb, but he wouldn't be as. I don't think he would be who he is, raised by them. I mean, I'm trying to think of a superhero that we know in the modern day that would fit better with them, with his parents. Oh, maybe Rogue, but Rogue was from Louisiana, and even her accent's not as bad as the Kents.
And Alan Beck, I'll tell you, Zod and I, Bell. Zod and I are both from Chicago. I mean, I guess you can hear a bit of a Chicago accent, but like, we're Midwest. We are Midwesterners, 100%. So we know what how the Midwest sounds. I mean, we live in that.
And that's not it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry, bro. That's not it. But you see, again, I didn't particularly have a problem with Mom and Pa Kent, other than they were Mom and Pa Kent. I would have preferred if they were like his grandparents. because that's how they were acting. They were acting almost. There were certain points in the movie where they were acting like senile.
Well, yeah, especially the mom.
And then you get that. Then you got that one moment where, Pa Kent tried to offer up some advice to Clark, and it was a nice moment, but it was undercut by the fact that none of it made any sense. They were older. They were older than dirt. Yelling at the phone like they've never seen a cell phone before. I just.
Also, phones existed for a long time. Just because it's a cell phone doesn't mean that it's still a phone. I mean,
they needed like hearing aids or something, I guess.
I'm moving on, son. I can't with this anymore. This was the Elves. Although it
was hard to watch for sure. Let's just put it that way.
Omni-Man is Jor-El. Exactly. And here's the thing. Whatever, supposedly behind the scenes is being retconned, until that actually happens, I'm going off that this message was real. That's how I'm going off this for now. Until something actually happens, as far as I'm concerned, this message was real.
Yeah, they'll do it in Peacemaker. Because we all have to watch Peacemaker now.
I'm not watching Peacemaker.
We all have to watch Peacemaker.
Look, I'll be honest. I watched season 1 of Peacemaker because I didn't think Gunny Poo was a factor at the time. I'm not watching season 2. Especially this whole season 1 being canon to the DCEU, season 2 being canon to the DCU. That's a whole another issue. But what were your thoughts on the L's in this movie?
There's not much to say, really. There's nothing to talk about. I mean,
we kind of covered a lot of it in the story, honestly. In the story section.
But they're in the movie, literally, they're in the movie for what, 13 seconds? 16 seconds tops? And all it does is it serves as like a plot point for Lex Luthor to continue being an idiot. I don't.
Well, you know what's
funny? How do you go from the Lara and Jor-El that we got in Man of Steel to this? How is this acceptable?
Yeah, Clark's, Man of Steel, make a better world, Cal.
Man, I gotta tell you, if it was this is the thing. If I was him, I'm gonna be honest with you. If I was him, okay, and those were my parents. My parents were Ma and Pa Kent, who are like half in the grave already. And then on top of it, you got Lara and Jor-El telling you that you were put on this earth, to spread your seed and basically conquer the planet. Honestly, I'm gonna be honest with you. If I was this Superman Batman, I would probably self-delete.
Yeah.
There's nothing. I mean, for what?
Yeah, I mean, no, Zod, I have nothing. It's just that's. You're right. There's nothing to say. I mean, all they did is they ruined Jor-El and Lara, made them evil, made them dictators, made them
for no reason, because he truly believed that his parents sent him there for good. He truly believed that. So to me, why would you do that? Why would you corrupt that? Let your Superman, let your pure big blue Boy Scout have his moment. Let him have his Superman lore intact. Don't try to corrupt it and try to act like you're going to subvert expectations, James Gunn. You've never subverted anything. Your entire career is based on dumb, perverted humor and screwy continuity that doesn't make any sense. This is an actual This is an actual example of how James Gunn shoots himself in the face. He could have had a decent movie here. He really could have. But he lets his own goofy, weird, creepo sensibilities get in the way, and then he has to incorporate that into everything that he writes. And this is why, in ChatGPT, probably gave him the idea and said, "Well, James, why don't you make Jor-El and Lara, why don't you make them evil? Why don't you make them, or make them have different views?" I don't know. I mean, we don't even know if they're evil, to be honest with you. We don't even know. It's like it could just be that maybe it's been misinterpreted. Maybe, but at the same time, it's like, James Gunn, if you're going to make everything sick and creepy, you're going to mention harems, and you're going to have, little children running around in diapers like you did in Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. I don't know, James Gunn, okay? I don't know what you're trying to imply here. I don't know what you're doing. But it's fine, whatever.
What's Zod? I don't know if you remember this, but Mikey Sutton scooped at one point that Gunny Poo wanted Henry Cavill for Jor-El.
Oh, I know. Could you imagine how that would have been?
And here's the thing. The idea of Cavill being Jor-El isn't a bad idea. I'll be honest. If Cavill got to finish his arc, it'd be like, cool, that's actually a good idea. But he was going to have Cavill be this Jor-El. The evil Jor-El. That's what he wanted for Cavill. Hey, so Henry Cavill, sorry we can't have you as Superman anymore, but how would you like to be an evil Jor-El?
And how about all those gunbots who swore up and down for several months that Henry Cavill was Ultraman? How did that turn out?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yep, Socks. I remember that in Wonder Woman 84.
Oh, God.
But yeah, no, the L's, it's a slap in the face to Superman lore. And if Zack Snyder had done that, that it had been a whole different story.
I kind of wish he would have. Because here's the thing, they're making it seem like it's no big deal now, like you said, because it's James Gunn, because it's James Gunn doing it. But if Snyder would have did it, I would love to have seen that. Oh, Zack Snyder, he killed my childhood. Da 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 da. But even Zack Snyder, who has his own ideas for how he wanted to approach these characters, knew that it would be a dumb freaking idea to make Jor-El and Lara evil.
Yep, exactly. You don't do that, and I honestly didn't like when Smallville was making Jor-El evil at first. I've still questioned why Clark just forgot about Jor-El killing someone in season 3, but that's a whole another rant with Smallville. But now on to Guy Gardner, and I'm gonna say this. If Johnny Poo wants to keep Peacemaker canon, he has to make everything from the Suicide Squad and everything from Peacemaker Season 1 canon. Whatever's in there, for better or for worse, is canon. Not half canon, all canon. So Nathan Fillion, his character should be dead because he died in the Suicide Squad. Does not get to be Guy Gardner in this movie. No. But he sucked as Guy. Guy Gardner just sucks in this movie. He's just a worthless nobody character, and in a movie
it's pretty funny because he talks all this stuff about comic books, and all of his fans talk about comic book accuracy, and about the only character I think that he gets right that I despise more than any character in comic books is Guy Gardner. I can't stand Guy Gardner. I hated Guy Gardner when I was reading comic books when I was a kid, and I hate Guy Gardner in this movie. And he reminded me of the Guy Gardner I hated in the comic books. So that in and of itself, I feel like is a win for James Gunn because, yeah, you got the annoying part of Guy Gardner right because that's exactly who Guy Gardner is. Guy Gardner is that scumbag prick. He's the same scumbag prick that he is in the comics. James Gunn definitely got that right. And he's got the same screwy haircut that makes no sense. He's got that bowl haircut just like he does in the comic books. And he's a colossal dickhead. So kudos to you, James Gunn, because you actually got a character right in Guy Gardner, because that's exactly who he is, and that's exactly who he would be today if he was actually a real character. That's what he would be. So, yeah, there's your comic book accuracy, Gun bots. I can give him credit for something when he does something right.
Here's one thing that he definitely got wrong. Doesn't the Green Lantern suit come from their ring?
Well, I mean, I don't know. Like detail wise, I'm not saying that he got that right, but I'm just talking about the characterization of Guy Gardner himself. That's how Guy Gardner is. But as far as the rest of it goes, I don't know. I mean, I think, wow. I just, yeah.
I mean, I hated Guy Gardner when I watched Green Lantern the animated series. I'm like, this guy's like, how does Guy Gardner exempt willpower? That's a whole issue with the comics.
Guy Gardner is completely useless. He's a scumbag of the highest order.
Yeah, property. Yeah, exactly. Property of Maxwell Lord, which makes no sense for a Green Lantern, but
I never thought I would actually see Guy Gardner in live action. That's the other thing. He's only James Gunn would take the least popular Green Lantern and make him like a live action character.
Yeah, that's Gunny Poo. He loves the lesser knowns, the underused characters. That's what he does.
But there's a reason. But see, whenever they use him in the comics, he's a colossal dickhead. So that in and of itself, and apparently on Peacemaker, they interviewed Nathan, the actor, Nathan Fillion. That's the actor, right? They interviewed the actor, and he said he's never used as many F-bombs in his career as he's used in Peacemaker season 2. So, yeah. So, the less we say about Guy Gardner, the better. But I still contend that is the only character out of all the characters he had in the movie that he got spot on, because that's exactly the way Guy Gardner is in the comic books. He's a douchebag. He's a narcissist. He's a scumbag. He's a dickhead. He's someone that you don't really want to be around, and he's not really liked by a lot of the other characters in the comic books either. So, good job, James Gunn. I'll give you credit. A plus on Guy Gardner, idiot.
Yep. And another character that I actually did kind of like. I'll be honest, I did like Mr. Terrific in this movie. I thought he was pretty good, but it's not a Mr. Terrific movie. It's a Superman movie, and I don't know. Like, he has cool fights. I do like him for that, but they still kind of ruin him though in certain moments, like opening the garage door, it being slow. It's like taking so long to open the garage door. I'm like, this is a Family Guy joke.
That was the one time that James Gunn decided to slow down the pacing. I noticed that. That was the one time in the movie where you actually have to take a moment. And that's why it felt so uncomfortable, because the whole movie was boom, 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 boom. And then when you get to that scene with the garage, it is so slow. It's almost painful to watch because of the pace of that movie. It was so out of place with the rest of the movie, and that's why it was supposed to be funny.
And it wasn't. I was just, again, it's like when Family Guy overuses a joke when their joke is, this is taking forever. It's not funny in Family Guy. It wasn't funny in this movie. Like, when Peter like made those dad noises for a minute in the hurricane episode, or when he took forever to back up a boat. It's like, look at how long this is taking. It's funny. No, it's boring and tedious. Just like it was in this movie. But Mr. Terrific, I'll say this. He was probably the most useful member of the Justice Gang. Everyone else is like, oh, we're not going to help. At least he helped Lois find Superman. He did that. At least he helped Superman.
It's just unfortunate that Mr. Terrific has to be wasted in this universe. That's the problem.
Yes. Exactly. I like Mr. Terrific in Justice League Unlimited. He was okay in Arrow, not phenomenal in Arrow, but... And in this movie, I think... Look, I'm not going to lie. I think a Mr. Terrific series starring that actor would be a good series. I don't know if I'd watch it under Gunny Poo.
Well, Gunn would just make everything around him perverted and goofy and ridiculous in some way. So there's no point. Like that's the idea. Mr. Terrific was like the stand-in for Batman in this movie. He was serious, logical, and made sense most of the time. But it was everything around him that didn't make sense, that was goofy, stupid, right down to the music that was playing in the scene where he rescues Lois that otherwise could have actually been a good scene, where he was protecting Lois as they were trying to get away from all of Lex's goons.
Yes. Yep. See, exactly, Zod.
And this is what I'm talking about. It's little things like this that keep you from liking this movie. It's little details where he could have did certain things differently to make this movie to be more appealing to people. But instead, he makes it all has to be stupid. In the end, it all has to be stupid, dumb, goofy. Everything has to get ruined with a joke, including Mr. Terrific. Mr. Terrific wasn't immune. They used Mr. Terrific goofily too. That's why, it's a shame, but it is what it is.
And another character that I thought was used very goofily, Metamorpho. It's like, okay, he's there, and he's being blackmailed to kill Superman, and then he sees a guy get killed. He's like, oh my God, this is a bad thing. Yeah, no shit. But it's like,
this is a bad thing.
Superman is fast, dude. Just wait till Lex leaves and turn off the kryptonite. My God, please use common sense. You really think that
How about everybody else in the prison? Oh, you're gonna get us all in trouble. That was like the stupidest scene I've ever seen in cinematic history. Everybody in there. Oh, we're all gonna get in trouble now because of those two. It's like, what the hell are you talking?
Want to get out of there?
You want to get out of there?
Well, it's kind of funny. They kind of just left them behind. At the end of the movie you see them get free, but I'm like, you could have saved a few people along the way.
Even the super shit monkeys got out. So that's so there's that. But
Metamorpho was just pointless in this movie. He had his little arc, or he helped save the day at the end, but I don't know.
Yeah, I agree, Bell. Superman Returns is a masterpiece. Superman Returns is like Superman 78 compared to this. For real. This is like what are we talking about here? Superman Returns is so much better than this movie that it's not even close. And this makes Man of Steel like the greatest Superman movie ever made, ever put on film, period. Compared to this movie. For real. There's nothing. It's like, are you kidding me?
Yes.
It's not even close.
And this character, as a fan of Justice League the Animated Series, was ruined for me. Like, first of all, she kills a person just to not be like Superman when she didn't actually have to. Like, she just was She was lame. She was nothing. She was bland, honestly. All she did was kill a guy to not be like Superman. That's her core character. Like,
that was her only real moment in the movie when she dropped that guy and let that guy die. That was her only story beat.
Wow, Qatar, you're sounding a lot like Sox Bulletins. Qatar and Sox both hate short people.
Yeah.
But you could have honestly taken Hawkgirl out of the movie and barely anything would have changed.
Nothing would have changed. She wasn't needed.
The guy that one president would have had to die differently, but other than that, or Guy Gardner wouldn't. They could
have just had Guy Gardner toss him over a bridge. I mean, at this point, it doesn't really matter. Like nothing matters in this universe. This universe is all goofy and ridiculous. There's no stakes. She didn't get any, and nobody. And isn't it so funny? Nobody complained about the way Hawkgirl killed that guy. Nobody said nothing. None of the gun bots are saying anything about the way she just cold-blooded killed that guy. That's completely acceptable. But all they do is cry and moan and bitch about Man of Steel and BVS and all this other stuff that they complain about. But it's okay for these superheroes in James Gunn's new universe to just cold-blooded murder people.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. It's hypocritical, Zod. It really is. I mean, I'll say this. I definitely would have liked the Hawkman and Black Adam was way better. And there's another character that I think Dwayne Johnson did better than Gunny Poo, which we'll get into a little later, but Eve Tessmacher. I don't know, like, just dumb, I don't know, just typical blonde bimbo. I mean, stereotypical blonde bimbo, I should say. Not that there's true about that stereotype is true at all.
I don't know. She was my favorite character in the movie because she was so stereotypical. It was so like on the nose. There was no room for any kind of nuance with her character. Everything about her was just straight up like what you saw was exactly what you got.
I mean, hey, she at least took the selfies. She at least was smart with the selfie pictures.
Yeah.
Give her that.
Yeah, exactly. And like I said, so there was really no, so to me, yeah, like she was definitely ditzy. She only has one brain cell, but she's definitely smart in certain areas. So to me, I think she was the best. She was the best character in the movie.
No, that's fair. That's fair, actually. I mean, but still, that's not a high bar in this movie.
No, that's not even, and I'm not even saying that because I think it's a character that I'd like to see more of. I'm just taking it solely in the context of the crap that we just watched.
And yes, Sox, I'm glad you said this, Sox. This is what bothers me in all these shows. It's like they're so stuck on Superman 78, but the thing is, the comics use Mercy Graves. Zack Snyder used Mercy Graves.
They can't move on from 78. That's the problem. All they want to do is emulate 78, and that fails every single time because it's not 1978 anymore.
Yes. It is 2025. Time, we're on for new things. And here's the thing.
I mean, think about it. Going back to Superman Returns again. Superman Returns tried to emulate 1978, and look at how that turned out. It's the same thing here, but they're making excuses for it because James Gunn did it.
And I'll go this far, Zod. If Zack got to finish his story, I wouldn't want other directors trying to emulate Zack Snyder. I'll go that far even. Years later. I just want to see that story finish, but I don't want to see everything try to copy Zack Snyder either. I don't want that. I want to see directors do their own thing. And that's
I actually had to revisit Superman Returns after watching this movie because I was really like, my God, because I had my issues with Superman Returns, but I'll tell you something. Like I had to go back and watch it, and when you rewatch Superman Returns after you watch this movie, you have a totally different perspective. You actually start to feel sorry for Brandon Routh, and you actually start to think to yourself, you know what? Because this is basically what James Gunn was trying to do anyway, right? James Gunn wanted to recapture some of the nostalgia from 78. That's all Superman Returns was one big letter to Superman 1978. One big love letter.
Yes, exactly. And what up, Super Bro Corey? And this is the place for you then, because we're going to spoil this movie like crazy. So you don't even need to see the movie. Just watch our review.
Now, you don't need to watch this movie, but I'll tell you one movie you definitely have to watch. You'll definitely have to watch when I get it done. You'll definitely have to watch One Punch Man for sure. And I expect a review of it on the Bat channel as well. I expect you guys to review One Punch Man when it comes out because it's awesome. You guys are going to love it.
Absolutely. I think you guys will love it. And Corey, you'll have to watch the beginning to find out why I actually watched this film, because it's a great story. And now, I will say this: the other character that I think Dwayne Johnson did better than James Gunn was Crypto. I actually like Super Pets. I like that movie. I thought it was a pretty decent. It was a pretty fun movie.
I knew you were going to say this. Oh my God, I knew it. I like psychically saw you saying this before you brought it up. Wow.
Yeah.
Yep.
Because it was. I mean, I enjoyed that film. That was Crypto to me. That was what Crypto's supposed to be, a white lab, or a white lab equivalent, I'll say, because technically he's from another planet. So who knows what the species are actually considered on that planet? But yeah, a white lab equivalent is what Crypto's supposed to be. Not, and you know what? He's not this dog who just destroys everything. Like, I love Dog's Side. I love dogs. I get more sad when I see a dog kill off a human than, or I'm sorry, I get more sad when I see a movie kill off a human than when I see a movie kill off a dog. I watch some monster movie, a human dies, good entertainment. Entertainment. A dog dies, oh, that's how I'm like. So if you get me to hate a dog, you screwed up. That is how bad they did with Crypto. He is just another useless character. He was there to sell toys. He was there to, or for Gunny Poo to insert his own dog in the movie, figuratively speaking. But no, he wrecks everything. He's basically responsible for saving Superman half the time. And
One Punch Man, I need to share my screen with you because this is relevant to what we were talking about earlier.
Okay.
This is what I was talking about. This is in the digital version of the home video release of Superman. And this is what retcons or walks back the idea of Superman's parents being evil. That's it. Yeah.
Well, because you screwed up, Gunny Poo.
So there you have it, folks.
Okay.
More excuses.
You heard it here. Still though.
Where's the dog?
Retconning. Now, what is your thought on Crypto in this movie?
Ugly, dirty, white animal.
Yeah, basically it.
That's it. I don't really. He was unruly, untrained, completely ridiculous. I'm done. Like Crypto, like I'm like you. I had I had a, you know what? I had a puppy who looked like that when I was a kid. And the puppy that I had that looked like that when I was a kid was a black puppy, and it had white fur on its chest. And it was cuter than Crypto. And Crypto, confusing Crypto with Crippy from my Superman Hood Legacy. But no, Crypto, yeah, you know it's bad when he gets you to really despise a dog. That's pretty bad. I mean, hell, I even felt bad for the animals in Pet Cemetery, but Crypto, man, I was hoping that Lex Luthor would keep Crypto in some sort of a trance or a prison or something, because I could not stand that dog.
Yeah, I couldn't either. And
yeah, he'll have the Bat Hound for sure. He'll have Ace, the dog
hopefully he
from
doesn't get that
Batman.
far.
From Batman Beyond, he'll have Ace, the big. Oh God, Grippy.
Oh God, no. Anyway, Jimmy Olsen. Okay, Snyder fans, you got anti-Snyder fans. You got your Jimmy Olsen in this movie, and he was worthless too. Honestly, it's like Eve Tessmacher. I mean, as Sin Havoc pointed out, Eve Tessmacher sent it, not Jimmy Olsen. So,
Yeah.
like, in fact, he really pissed me off. It's like, just spend a weekend with Eve Tessmacher, dude. The world is ending. Just spend a weekend with Eve Tessmacher. Why is that such a big deal right now?
Eve Tessmacher deserves her own TV show at this point. She's like the ultimate. She's like the ultimate detective, the ultimate. She's the super sleuth. The Eve Tessmacher show. That'd be awesome.
Yeah.
I'd watch that. I'd watch that every week. I'd be like, yes, let's go.
Yeah. I mean, compared to Jimmy Olsen, I mean, again, Jimmy Olsen doesn't do anything. He just steals. He just gets selfies from Eve Tessmacher, and it's like, here you go. He did it. He's just, I mean, he's useless. You know what? At least Zack Snyder just admitted, yeah, I don't really have anything to do with Jimmy Olsen, so I'm just going to kill him off. You know what? At least you admitted that. At least you didn't just have him in there and just be a worthless idiot. So, and you know who else? Perry White. What did Perry White do in this movie? What was his role in this movie?
He was just a prop. He was just there to be there.
Yeah. He like ordered all these people on the ship and they didn't do anything. It's like, dude, why are you like bringing these people along? They didn't do anything.
Yep.
In fact, you didn't do anything, if we're being honest here. And
a complete waste.
Oh yeah, cool. Smoking a cigar. Cool. And now the engineer. Because Gunny Poo has to do some obscure character. Didn't hate her, wasn't interesting though. She was just a villain who could do stuff. Nothing special about her.
could do stuff. Yeah, that's about it. She could do stuff.
Nanobites in her stream. She could hack the fortress, but very forgettable, honestly. Not an interesting character. Just Gunny Poo is I gotta put some obscure character that no one's heard of. The engineer. What's her origin? I don't care. Well, put her in. So, yeah, that's a good question, Sin Havoc. But now, Ultraman. Really bizarre. He was bizarre. Okay, Bizarro is a dim-witted clone of Superman, basically. He has a white face eventually, but he's essentially a dim-witted clone of Superman.
Mm-hmm.
This is what Ultraman is in this movie. He's freaking Bizarro.
Yep.
I don't know. Do you have anything to say about Ultraman?
Just that he's not Henry Cavill, and I think, and I'm laughing at all those people that swore up and down that he was.
Yep. And now the final. Okay, for the final fight. I don't know. Was it everyone did stuff. They stopped the black hole. I don't know. Nothing really special about that final fight to me, honestly. I don't know. Do you have anything to say about the final fight?
No, by that point, I was already completely checked out.
Fair enough. The ending post-credits scene. So, again, this is where Supergirl appears and she gets drunk under Red Sun, plans with the Red Sun so she can get drunk. But you go back to a Yellow Sun, that drunkenness should be gone.
Yeah.
You're impaired. So, and then the post-credit scenes were pointless and boring. First of all, Kara already took Krypto back, so why is Superman and Krypto sitting on the moon together? And that scene with Superman and Mr. Terrific over that building. Like, oh my god.
So
Stupid
are
comment.
we? So if we're supposed to, if we're meant to take that literally, then that means that he must be babysitting the dog again, because she just came to take the dog, and now the dog is back with him. That's what I didn't understand. Why didn't they show that part before Kara came back and picked up her dog? That's an editing mistake.
Yeah, exactly. And here's the thing. Krypto's supposed to be Superman's dog. I think Supergirl has a cat. I think they're super cat. So why is
I think Krypto is her dog in that Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow, whatever story it is that they're adapting for the Supergirl movie. I think Krypto is her dog in the comics. So that's why I guess that explains it.
Okay, fair enough. But still, I don't know. Ending was it was kind of abrupt too, honestly. It's like all of a sudden they beat the bad guys, and I don't know. It's like it's like a minute and then it's over basically. It's like he goes to the fortress, he has his happy memories, Kara comes, movie's over. I'm like, I don't know. Kind of boring, honestly. But kind of abrupt. And that scene with Mr. Terrific and Superman, not funny, which is kind of cringy humor, honestly.
Well, that scene was another scene that was supposed to be in the movie. I guess at one point that scene was actually in the movie, and they decided for whatever reason to move it to the post credit. I don't know why.
But okay, I don't know. Otherwise, it was stupid. And now, other thoughts. Is there anything you want to talk about that we didn't talk about? I'll just say Superman saving the squirrel, pointless. It's a squirrel, for Christ's sakes.
I don't know. It's 2 hours of our lives we can't get back, and now we just spent all this time talking about it. I guess what I'm trying to say is I don't ever want to talk about it again. It was a pointless experience. It really was. It's the first Superman movie ever in my lifetime where I not only was not excited to see it, I had zero expectations, but I just feel like it's something that shouldn't have been made. It's not something that we should have had to suffer through. And I would say that this movie is pretty close to being a crime against humanity, honestly.
Okay. And before we get to the wrap-up
Sin Havoc, when Superman Returns is your palate cleanser, that tells you something. Just saying.
Man of Steel is a palate cleanser for a lot of people because
but Man of Steel. I'm not putting Man of Steel in that category because Man of Steel is so far above all of that it's not. I can't. Man of Steel is like my favorite. Is like my favorite film. So I'm gonna keep Man of Steel at the top. I'm not even putting Man of Steel in this. I'm saying that Superman Returns you can handle the light work. Superman Returns can be a palate cleanser for this movie because that's how bad this movie is. This movie, wow, like unbelievable. Unbelievable. I can't believe that this movie, I mean, he needs a better editor for sure. Like, I feel like that movie could have been edited better. I feel like the pacing could have been better. I feel like if he would have just did some simple thinking in the way that when he was writing the script, just simple Superman-like things, little Superman touches could have easily made this movie better.
What up, Josh?
There he is. There's just Josh. There we go.
Yep. Should have been talked One Punch Dan a little bit and describe my hatred for your character. But anyways, this brings me to the ultimate question, Zod. Was it worth it? Because this, again, the plan to finish the Snyderverse, Henry Cavill coming back, they got rid of that. The whole ruining the last 4 movies of the DCEU. Was this worth it after seeing this movie? Was the reboot / retcon worth it?
I think what you're gonna see ultimately is that they're gonna realize what a colossal mistake they make when Supergirl flops. Because they're making all kinds of excuses now for this movie not having to make money because it's the start of a new universe. They're making up all kinds of bogus excuses that wouldn't hold water with anybody else. But because it's James Gunn, he gets away with murder, literally. So now we have to wait for the next piece of crap in his DCU to fail. And then when that fails, maybe then the shareholders will have had enough. Maybe then the studio will have had enough. Maybe by then the studio will finally get sold like it's supposed to. And, we could be in for maybe some better experiences out of DC. But as it stands now, it was absolutely not worth it. And now they're going to have to see that it wasn't worth it. Because at the end of the day, it doesn't matter how many excuses you make for your turd. You cannot polish a turd no matter what you do. A turd is a turd no matter what you do. A flop is a flop no matter what you do. You cannot change it. You can try to skew the numbers. You can try to cook the books. You can try to make it look like it's something special when we know for a fact that it's not. And you can keep looking at the domestic box office, trying to tell everybody that this is some marvel of a movie, right? Pun intended. This is a success, right? A huge success, right? Fantastic Four flopped too, but Fantastic Four was a vastly superior movie to this. So what does that tell you? People are sick of this crap. People are tired of going to the movies and being let down. They're tired of the upward failure. They're tired of being of wasting their time and money and energy to go to a theater to sit in a movie with a bunch of horrified mouth breathers watching crappy movies. This is terrible. If you're going to do this, you might as well stay at home and watch everything in the comfort of your own home. This definitely was not worth the cost of admission. This definitely was not worth $18.42 a ticket. It definitely was not worth it. And I'll tell you right now, I really enjoyed seeing Fantastic Four in a theater, and I'm glad, and I recommend, well, it's a little bit late now, but if you had to choose between the two, I think you would have been better served going to watch Fantastic Four. But
absolutely, and
but I think the audience is sick of it, though. The audience is tired of it. The audience has been let down by Marvel a gazillion times. They've been let down by DC a gazillion and one times. So now it's like you're going to have to do a lot more to persuade people to get people to go to the theaters to see your movies. It's just the reality.
Give the fans what they want. Fans asked for Hugh Jackman back as Wolverine. Deadpool and Wolverine made money because Ryan Reynolds listened to fans. People wanted Henry Cavill back as Superman. He would have made money. you didn't go that direction, and now you have to live with the consequences. Here's the thing. Studios can do whatever they want. They can, but they have to live with the consequences of that choice. They felt the Snyderverse was not the right route to go. Fine, okay, but you get the consequence of that choice, good or bad, and the studio dealt with the bad consequence. That's the reality of the situation. Excuses all you want, but at the end of the day, excuses don't pay bills. One of my teachers had this saying, Zod, excuses are like armpits. We all have them, and most of them stink. At the end of the day, that's all it is. You're just getting armpits. Every excuse I hear is an armpit as far as I'm concerned. So you know what? It wasn't worth it. They should have just, honestly, finished Man of Steel 2, done Man of Steel 2, the Batfleck movie, ZSJL 2 and 3, maybe Wonder Woman 3, but really just finish the Snyderverse and then. But no, they didn't, and this is the consequence. Because the whole time I'm watching this, I'm like, we lost the Justice League fighting Darkseid for this? We have the unresolved cliffhanger from Zack Snyder's Justice League for this?
That's what I mean when I say it was a crime against humanity. Because what Zack Snyder was going to give us with Zack Snyder's Justice League 2 and 3 was going to be nothing short of pure epic cinema. And instead of epic cinema, we get juvenile crap, and we get told to tune in to Peacemaker Season 2.
Nope.
You can't make this stuff up.
I'm not watching Peacemaker Season 2, and my dad can't even get me to do that. He got me to watch Superman, but he's not getting me to watch Peacemaker Season 2. So.
I'm going to be honest with you. I'm going to watch Peacemaker Season 2 out of curiosity, out of morbid curiosity, because I want to see just how bad it's going to be. It's going to be a train wreck. I know it is. And I cannot wait to see just like how horrible it's going to be. So I will definitely be watching it, because I'm going to tell you right now. All right. I think that this James Gunn experiment is going to be over sooner than we think. And
well, Sin Havoc seems to think so we'll see. But at the end of the day, this was a colossal failure. This was.
a colossal failure, yes.
So what are your final thoughts, and what is your overall rating of this movie?
My final thoughts are, I would tell people to skip it, but I believe that everybody should watch it now that it is widely available. I think everybody should see it so that you could be just as tortured as those of us who were forced to sit through it were. I think it's if you're a movie person, you deserve to see a master class in craptivity, because that's what we got here from James Gunn. He is the master crapinator, and he definitely this is some of James Gunn's worst work. And I've seen all kinds of crap that James Gunn did. I saw Human Z, and I think that this is just slightly worse than Human Z. So my rating, 0.0.0.0.0.0 out of 10.
And, honestly, here's the thing. I very rarely like to give movies zeros, because I feel like there has to be something redeemable in the movie, right? But honestly, Zod, I did not like this movie. I like Mr. Terrific. I like Mercy Graves, now that after talking to you. Rachel Brosnahan did decent, but it's not enough to really redeem this movie to me. At the end of the day, that's just the reality of it. I despise this movie. I hate that this movie even existed. I hate that we lost the Snyderverse and Henry Cavill for this. And I just will not. Here's the thing. If you catch me reviewing a DCU movie on this channel anymore, I'm just going to say, go ahead, blame my dad. I'm just going to say it right now. It's because my dad made me watch it, because he said I needed to cover it for my channel. Love you, Dad, but I am blaming you ahead of time for this, because probably what happened. So I'm going to give this movie a 0.00019234692 out of 10. That's the best I can do. I can't do anything more than this. I despise this movie with a passion, and I'm gonna emphasize, even though my dad made me watch this, he hated it too. So
I love that your dad made you watch this because, again, this is what I'm talking about. This is a shared experience. This is shared misery. We live in a time where misery loves company, and this is that. So you know what? It's great. I give your dad credit. I'm glad your dad made you watch this movie because we're here having this conversation, and I think it needs to be talked about. And I will say, the funny thing is, as much as I hated this movie, as much as I don't have anything against people that enjoyed this movie, that think this movie is good, that think it's great. I question their taste in film, but I'm not mad at you if you like it or you feel a certain way. What I don't like is the people that feel the need to attack everybody that has something critical to say about the movie. Because there's no movie that is without criticism. All movies have criticism and deserve to have criticism leveled at them in some way. No movie is ever going to be perfect. There's going to be some filmmakers that are going to come close. There's going to be some movies that are going to come close, but perfection is always something to strive for. It is not the norm. So I'm telling you, like, to me, I just don't understand why so many people are going to bat and dying on this hill for this movie when they know it's not good. Because I don't know about you, Bat Dan, but I've seen a lot of people come out and talk about how much they liked this movie and how they thought this movie was wonderful, but nobody's coming out saying that they love this movie. Everybody's just coming out saying, I like this movie. Oh, this movie's great. I've seen some reviewer on YouTube who's done like 6 different reviews of this movie and has changed his review every single time. And it's like, if you've got to change your rating for the movie after every time you watch it as clickbait for your BS channel, you have no credibility. Yeah, I'm talking to you, Angry Joe. You have no credibility, dude. None whatsoever. You're going to sit there every review. You do a review and then you turn around and then you do a review and you change your review. I think he gave it like a 6 out of 10 his first go around. And then he comes back and he says, he does this whole spiel for his next review, and then he turns around and gives it an 8 out of 10. It's like, how did the movie jump 2 points from your first viewing to your second viewing? For real, dude. Like, really? And he still had some of the same issues with it, but then he was able to massage the issues he had a little bit. And I'm like, dude, it's like these guys are going out of their way to rub one out for this movie, and I just don't understand why that is. I honestly don't. If you like the movie, you don't need to keep trying to convince yourself that it was a good movie. Either it was good or it wasn't. And most people only need to see a movie one time to know if they liked it or not. If you have to see a movie more than once to know that you liked it, there's a problem. For real. Yeah. I mean, if you don't like the movie, you don't like the movie. I don't know how many times. So does that mean if me and Batdan sit here and watch this movie like 6 more times, in the course of those 6 more times, our review will go up from a 0 all the way to a possible 8 out of 10?
No, not happening. I'll tell you this right now. I'm not. Look, I covered it once to review it on my channel. I'm not torturing myself, though. No. I am not doing that experiment. Not happening. Not happening.
Yeah, let's rub one out for Superman 25, because at the end of the day, that's all that matters. And all that matters is how fast we rub it out because we got to get those YouTube views up. I'm telling you.
I don't do that shit for YouTube views. You know, I keep my integrity. And
Exactly.
I will say this, Angry Joe, I still have beef with you for that review with the Nostalgia Critic you did on Nostalgia Critic channel, Batman v Superman, where you had like mock Zack Snyder, like had a character portray Zack Snyder as stupid. Like, attack a movie, don't attack a person. That was distasteful. F you both. So
not only that, Angry Joe acted like he was so hurt, and he did such a big rant when they found out about Henry Cavill not coming back, and then he turned around and was the shill of shills for this movie. Right down to the point where he's doing multiple reviews for the movie, literally wearing a Walmart version of the David Corn Sweat, whatever that suit is. All I know, okay, is, and he's not the only one. I've seen a lot of people, but he stands out to me because he changed his review. Like, you have no credibility, bro. You're literally changing your review. So what? You're going to do another review next week and it's going to be 10 out of 10?
Probably.
How much did they pay you? That's what I want to know. How much money was James Gunn giving people? Because I never got offered any money. I tell you right now, if Sean Gunn would have slipped into my DMs and said, hey, Zod, if you do a positive review for Superman, I'll give you $15,000 of PayPal right now. Okay, no problem. I'll do a positive review. Pay me. Give me 15 grand right now, Sean Gunn, and I'll figure out a way to spin a positive review for your Superman movie. I can say some positives right now. I'm happy that it's over. I'm happy that I'll never have to watch it again. I'm happy that it proved beyond a shadow of a doubt that Warner Brothers needs Zack Snyder more than ever. And it proves, once again, that Henry Cavill is the GOAT and he can never be topped. David Corn Sweat was cute as Superboy, but he's definitely not Superman. And you know what? When the Snyderverse eventually does come back, because let's face it, if the stocks at WB go any lower, well,
I have no choice.
That should be the Snyder fandom's. That should be our next campaign, to buy up all the WB stock.
Oh yeah, that would be
Could you imagine that if all the Snyder fandom pitched in and we all bought WB stock and bought enough stock to get controlling interest of the company?
Oh, if that happened,
that would be a hell of a move by the fandom, for real.
Oh yeah, absolutely, and who knows? That might be a reality soon enough. But at the end of the day, this was just a garbage movie. And no socks. Nope. Anyways, hold on a second. Let me just take care of something real quick. And okay, now, so coming up on this channel, we're going to have more, we're going to definitely cover One Punch Stand, the One Punch Stand cinematic universe. We'll cover all of it on this channel. And I guess, and Zodwriter, what do you have coming up on your channel?
Well, right now I'm focused on One Punch Stand. So the main thing I'm doing is trying to get this movie done. Once the movie is done, you'll be seeing a lot more from me on YouTube. I'm planning on coming back. I'm planning on doing more live streams and things like that. But for now, you'll get some more music from me, and then you'll definitely get you'll get one more big One Punch Stand trailer before the movie comes out. And then once you get that big trailer, the movie's going to drop. Because as you know, as I said earlier, I am off to the races with this editing. I am literally editing on average of about 2 minutes of footage per day, editing into my big cut of the movie. And if I keep going at the pace I'm going, this thing will be done within a month, completely done, completely in the can. And you guys will all get to see it shortly after that. So I'm not making any promises about exactly when One Punch Man is going to drop. But I am saying that there is going to be one more big trailer. And once that trailer drops, that's going to be your big indicator that, hey, the movie's done and Zod is going to eventually just drop the movie. So you can look forward to that. And then I'll be reaching out to all of you illustrious actors to come on and talk to me about the movie and join me for the commentary. I'm really looking forward to our commentary track together, One Punch Dad, because I think it's going to be amazing to hear you talking about your experiences working as the character. I mean, just the workout regimen alone. I mean, my God, bro.
Yeah, the workout regimen. Right. But I still can't wait, though. I mean, One Punch Man is going to be a cinematic universe right there. And I cannot wait, Zod. I appreciate all the work you've done for One Punch Man. And I appreciate you coming on to get this over with, to get this review over with. But you know what? We did it. We saw it. We reviewed it. So now we covered it at the end of the day. And coming up on this channel, I'll be promoting One Punch Man more. I'll be promoting Cell more and Socks. You don't know this yet, but when Spider-Man comes out, the Tobey Maguire trilogy comes out in theaters, we're going to be reviewing those 2 films. I'm saying 2 films because we're going to review the first film. But we're going to review the next 2 films, Socks. That's happening. I'm sure you'll be okay with that because you love those films. And guys, if you like this video, please like, share, subscribe. Hit the notification bell for more unique takes, interesting thoughts, and great rants such as these. And Zodwriter, thank you again for coming on my show. It's been a blast having you on anytime. And on that note, Zod, any final words?
Pow pow.
Have a bat-tastic day.